Let's brainstorm a bit to think of possible modifications to the Pong game. Any ideas? We can change it in many ways. We can, for instance, make the ball move faster. We can change its starting point or colour. Or we can show the route it follows throughout the game. We could even replace the paddle with a goalkeeper and the backdrop with a football field to transform Pong into a penalty shootout game. There are many possibilities. Let's start implementing some of these ideas. First, we want the ball to move faster. How can we do this?
This can be implemented by increasing the number of steps that the ball moves. Try different values, say 15. We can actually make the game easier or harder simply by changing this value.
This gives me an idea. We could create a game with 2 difficulty levels. Initially, the game will be set to slow, and then we'll ask the player whether he or she wants the fast version or not. Depending on the answer, we'll specify a larger or a smaller number of steps for the ball to move. It would be useful to define a variable to store the number of steps that the ball should be moving.
We'll create it and name it speed. We'll set the initial value of speed to be 10 for a normal game by introducing a set speed block right after the one for initializing the game. Next, we'll ask whether the player wants the fast version. And if that's the case, we'll increase the speed value. To implement this, we'll introduce an if-then block. And we'll set its condition to answer equals yes. If the answer is yes, we'll set the speed to 30. There's one final thing that we need to change in our code. We want the ball to move to the corresponding speed value rather than 10. Let's try it out. I'll choose to go for a faster game. Good, our ball now moves faster.
But what if the player answered maybe or any other word different than yes or no? Then the program would have the same behavior as that for the case of no. But this doesn't make much sense, right? Luckily, we can easily fix this. We can modify a program to accept only yes or no answers. So for any other invalid answers, we'll repeat the question.
To implement this, we'll introduce a repeat until block, setting its condition to have 2 parts, either a yes or a no answer. So we'll get an OR block from the operator's palette and complete it with answer equals yes or answer equals no. The OR block helps us express a complex condition, and it is true if at least one of its individual conditions are true. So until the user inputs yes or no, the program will keep asking, indicating that only yes and no are valid answers. Only once the user provides a valid answer will we exit this loop and move further down in our script. We'll then check if the answer was yes, in which case the number of steps will change to 30.
It is good practice to verify the data that the users enter as part of our programs. This way, we'll avoid possible mistakes and ensure that our programs behave as desired. When the users provide invalid data or data that doesn't make sense, it is useful to let them know about this and invite them to try once again, while giving hints on what type of answers are expected.
Hi, Retty.
Hi, Cody.
In the operator's palette, I saw that apart from the OR block, we also have an AND block. Do they do the same thing?
That's a very good question. Both the AND and the OR blocks are used to express complex conditions, but they don't have the same meaning. The AND block is true when both its conditions are true. For example, if you want to access your email, you must correctly provide both the username and the password. If you write correctly only one of the two or none, then you cannot access it. On the other hand, the OR block is true if at least one of its individual conditions is true. For example, the options for not getting wet when being in a park on a rainy day are to hold an open umbrella or to wear a raincoat. Any of these two conditions, or both, are enough for the general condition to be true. In this case, not getting wet. Does this make sense, Cody?
Yes, thanks. And how about the not block? What is this one for?
The not block also applies to a condition, and it is satisfied when the condition inside it is false. For example, suppose we have the condition the traffic light is red. This condition is true when the traffic light is red. If we move this condition inside a not block, then this block is true when the traffic light is not red, for instance, when it's green or yellow. These blocks can be further combined to express conditions that are even more complex, like this one here.
Perfect.
You're welcome, Cody. And, or, and not are simple yet powerful connectives that are widely used in artificial intelligence. In the University of Edinburgh, there are many informatics researchers that use these constructs to build smart systems that can check different complex cases. For instance, to help firemen safely evacuate buildings, or to help doctors make decisions about the treatment and care of their patients.
Sounds cool.
We recommend you to have a look at the and, or, and not blocks in Scratch and experiment a bit to combine them in different ways. For instance, to check if a number is within a desired range.